So we understand that police are responding to reports of an active shooter at an Islamic center in San Diego. Let's go to Chief Correspondent Jonathan Hunt in Los Angeles covering the fires. But this is another breaking story. What can you tell us so far on this, Jonathan?
Yeah. Martha, we got the first word of this about 30 minutes ago, that there was an active shooter situation confirmed by the police, confirmed also by the mayor of San Diego. It's at the Islamic Center of San Diego. That is the largest Islamic center in San Diego County. A huge police response. You can make out some of those police vehicles in that wide aerial shot that we're currently getting. We do not have confirmed word yet on how many victims there may have been in this shooting. We understand that there may have been some, but we are awaiting, of course, as we always do in these situations, for official confirmation before we give our viewers any information on any injured or indeed anybody who may have been killed in this shooting. Neighbors have been talking about it. They've been talking about a man with an automatic rifle, possibly confronted there by a security guard. Again, we're waiting for confirmation of that. But as you look at the rear, at some of the outbuildings there, we have seen going into those buildings heavily armed officers. They were just moving in. Now, that may have been simply that they are sweeping every room, as they tend to do in these situations. And I also should point out there is a school on that property as well. It is the Bright Horizon Academy. As we understand it, it is pre-K to third grade. We would assume that every single child has been evacuated from that facility right now. When we first came to the pictures here that we've been monitoring now for 30 minutes or so, I saw a lot of people being led away from the scene in the long with single file queues we've seen so often in these kind of tragic situations. So what we know for now, for sure, Martha, is that there was or is an ongoing active shooter situation at the Islamic Center in San Diego. We do not know whether anybody has been injured, whether anybody has been killed. We will bring you those details as soon as we get official confirmation of them. But as you can see from that scene, police swarmed the area, and it is very much an active situation right now, Martha.
Jonathan, thank you. Paul Mauro stayed with us as we start to get the outlines of what's going on here at the Islamic Center of San Diego. It's an enormous place, Paul. So it's got to be difficult to determine, to sweep that whole place and to know whether or not this shooter is down or dead or still active.
Yeah, and we don't know which way the bullets are going here, right? We've had a number of instances recently where religious institutions have been attacked, right? Now, we're being told active shooter, the police are there. Is it a hostage situation? Is somebody holed up in there shooting out? Or is somebody shooting into the place? So we don't know really the contours of what's going on here. We know that we've had a couple of recent attacks. We had the terrible synagogue attack, which we got very, very lucky. The guy drove the vehicle right into the synagogue. Fortunately, stopped by a security guard. Could have a similar situation right here. I'm trying to get some information about it. According to what I see here, it is a Sunni mosque location. Why do I bring that up? Because Iran is a Shia nation. And some of the stuff that we've seen lately relative to Iran, like, for instance, Hezbollah-linked attacks that were planned to go off here in America, that has a Shia footprint. And if you do count, I did 15, 16 years of counterterrorism, you think in those terms. What do I have here? Where should I be looking? What connections should I be looking for? Who's identified? So some of the atmospherics here. But, of course, the most important thing right now, control the situation and make sure nobody gets hurt.
Paul, thank you. Thank you for sticking around. Breaking news there. We'll continue to let you know as we get more information.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.